An unprecedented new consciousness is transforming the entire human species. A new world is being born. The old world is disintegrating. Both worlds now call to you. Do you want to live in gratitude, patience, contentment, and all of the universe? Or in anger, worry, overwhelm, and despair? This podcast will help you choose joyfully and effectively. Welcome. I'm glad to have this time with you to speak about relationship. I want to do this because many people don't understand how important relationship is to spiritual growth. Perhaps most people don't. But you can't grow spiritually without relationships. The substance of your interactions with others forms the basis of your spiritual growth. As you interact with others, you activate loving and frightened parts of their personalities, and they activate loving and frightened parts of yours. Now, creating authentic power, real power, requires you to be able to distinguish between these, between love when it's active in you and fear when it's active in you. And the reason you need to distinguish between these two is to be able to choose consciously between the two. When you consciously choose love while you're feeling fear, that's creating authentic power. So let me give you an example. Suppose you're angry or you're jealous. These are terribly painful emotions. And you can feel how painful they are by putting your attention in your solar plexus and your chest and your throat areas while you're angry. Or you can notice your thoughts, and they'll be judgmental and critical of yourself or of others. That's the time to consciously choose to let a loving part of your personality do the talking for you or do the acting for you. By a loving part of your personality, I mean a part that's grateful or appreciative or content or caring or patient. In other words, to create authentic power requires that you become aware of all of the aspects of yourself, all of the different parts of your personality, and choose to act and speak in love, no matter what's happening inside of you or what's happening outside of you. Now we come to relationships. Relationships are exactly that which shows you, which activates in you frightened and loving parts of your personality. And that's when you can apply your emotional awareness, which I just briefly showed you how to do, and responsible choice, which I just explained, which is consciously choosing to act and speak in love, even while you're feeling a frightened part of your personality. So what good does this do? It does a lot of good, because as you continually challenge frightened parts of your personality by consciously acting in love instead, the power of that part of your personality over you begins to diminish, and eventually it disappears. And that's how you create authentic power, by challenging the fear in you repeatedly and cultivating the love in you repeatedly. And it's in a context of relationship that you do that. Now, let's clarify something else. Creating authentic power for yourself is only something that you can do. You can't create authentic power for anyone else, and no one else can create it for you, because only you can apply emotional awareness and know when it's fear that's active in you or when it's love. That's what emotional awareness shows you. And it's only you that can decide to act with love even while you're experiencing fear. That's a responsible choice. No one can use emotional awareness to determine what's happening in you except you. And no one can choose responsibly, which means make a choice that will create consequences for which you're willing to assume responsibility, except you. Now put these together, and what does it mean? Put your sole responsibility for creating authentic power in your life, and also the necessity of having relationships in your life in order to create authentic power. How do they fit together? Very closely. They're inseparable. First of all, it's your relationships that activate loving and frightened parts of your personality. They form the basis of your growth. And secondly, it's through your relationships that as you create authentic power, you begin to infuse the consciousness of the collectives in which you participate with authentic power. For example, what collectives do you participate in? Are you a female? That means you're participating in the collective of all female humans. It also means that you're participating in the collective of all daughters and all granddaughters. And if you have children, you're participating in the collective of all mothers. If you're married and you are bringing the energy of creating authentic power into your marriage, you are transforming that archetype. And if you're a male, it's the same thing, but on the masculine side. You're a son, you're a grandson, you're an uncle, you're a grandfather. And if you're married, well, if you're married, you're a husband. But let's talk about the relationship between spiritual partnership, which is a very fine aspect of relationship, and marriage at another time. At this time, let's just say that a spiritual partnership is a partnership between equals for the purpose of spiritual growth. And spiritual growth is creating authentic power. So that means that as you are in relationship with another individual and you both know that you are souls and you both know that you are responsible for creating relationships of more substance and depth, and you know that you are each responsible for creating authentic power in your lives, each in his or her life. When you know that each of you is responsible for aligning his or her personality with his or her soul, then you are by attraction and by nature involved in a spiritual partnership. And you can assist one another consciously. But even if you're not conscious about spiritual partnership, others will assist you. Others will push your buttons, put it that way, because it's the buttons that hurt that are bringing you into the experience of parts of your personality that originate in fear and that you need to experience consciously and challenge in order to move into your full potential. And it's as you do this, and as you do this in relationship, you infuse all of the collectives in which you participate with the energy of authentic power. Now, the largest collective in which you participate is humanity. You are a human being. You have all of these other categories, male. You have all, for example, not male and female, but initially family member of your community, living in the city or town that you're living in the state or the country that you're living in. And then you have very broad collectives that you're participating in, such as the collective of American, or this collective of Chinese, or the collective of French or Vietnamese. And then you have even larger collectives, the collective of your religion, if you have one, Catholic, Buddhist, Hindu, Baha'i. And then come very large collectives, such as your race, and then your sex. And then comes the largest collective, and that is humanity. So as you create authentic power, you infuse all of these collectives through your interactions with others with authentic power. Right now, they're infused with the consciousness of external power, because that's the consciousness of the world into which we were born. That is the consciousness of the world that is dying. That is the product of a dying consciousness, 5 sensory perception and external power. But you are multisensory, and you are creating authentic power. And you do that through your interactions, through your relationships. And your relationships, as they become spiritual partners, assist you in your personal responsibility for creating authentic power. So the days of imagining enlightenment or liberation or freedom from what? Your fears, your dreads, your crippling, paralyzing inadequacies by yourself are over. Yes, the work is for you to do, but it's done in a context of relationship. Relations are very important. You can't separate them from spiritual growth. They're like that. Join me next time to explore the epic transformation of human consciousness that is reshaping our species and your part in it. It may surprise you. I'm Gary Zukav.